Hey class, so for this week's discussion, we're talking about sports venues, and what are the some of the externalities that could be beneficial to either creating a new sports venue in a community, or remodeling or redoing an older one, and just sort of how you could go about getting that change. Because obviously, in large markets such as New York and LA, you may see this happen more so than not. I mean, currently, right now, you've got the Rams who are building uh, a new football stadium in Los Angeles. New York, they have several teams across all the major sports. So, I mean, stadiums, they don't come and go, but you have seen the Yankees, they redid theirs just about a decade ago now. The Giants and Jets, the Meadowlands is relatively new. Um, so it's more common in those areas. Sometimes in your smaller areas, though, smaller markets, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, sort of in the Midwest or other places, something like a San Antonio, um, you may have more of a, not really a pushback, but people there when you only have one or two major sports teams, and that's not really the driving force of the community. It may be tougher to sometimes for those people to see some of the potential benefits, especially if it's the case where it's a new franchise coming, such as Oklahoma City with the NBA a couple years ago, because at that time that was something completely new to them to see a professional franchise come in, and what's this stadium gonna cost for us? What's it gonna make logistics wise for us? How's traffic going to be impacted? Just job markets all around. So there's a lot that you have to kind of cover when things like that come up. So some of the topics that I kind of looked at it as if you were going into a proposal with the committee or a board about um, redoing a stadium or bringing in a new one, just some of the things you'd want to cover. And I think oftentimes, as it was mentioned before, there's more non-sports fans than there are sports fans. So you have to be really reasonable when presenting your case in this matter. Obviously, a lot of times that these proposals are rejected is for financial reasons, or there's financial uh, implications sort of attached to why it couldn't happen. So I think first you have to address that. I think you can, you can just, outside of the sport itself, whatever it is, and we'll say, a basketball team or an indoor. I think indoor stadiums are a lot easier to propose these days. So either a domed football stadium or a big arena. Um, outside of the sports season, NBA is obviously going to last a lot longer. There's going to be a lot more individual games, um, but outside of your sports season, you're going to have a chance to where people who don't really think about this could say, well, there's going to be a 6 month period, or if it's football, there could be like a 8 month period where you've just got a big brand new stadium sitting around, and really what you can do is you can use that space in a lot of other ways. You see all the time concerts come into places, conventions come into places, um, and with that, you're bringing revenue, you're bringing new people in who may not have seen the place. You can really actually almost market your sport venue that way when you bring in other people in the community. If you have an arts fair or something, people who aren't going to go to your football game are going to come in. They're going to see the venue. They're going to see how nice it is. Obviously, it's going to be laid out different, but they're going to get a general idea of what it is, and it'll be a good chance for them to, maybe be like, hey, I might want to come back and see when it's a football game. So that's just one thing that that's something you can kind of put out there for financial reasons, and then so once that's kind of if you could present a way where financially it's not going to hurt the city, there still might be that backlash of, well, even if we're going to come out even or a little ahead financially, why do we want to go through all the trouble? And I think they're the big move now that sports can be a really unifying measure between a community, between a town or a city. Even a big city such as L.A. or a New York. You saw what Houston, how they kind of rallied with the World Series and having the rough fall that they did with the hurricane season, and that was just kind of a driving force. It was an uplifting thing, and I think a lot of times, a stadium can be pride for a city, especially when they get brand new ones. It's a symbol that people, they go by a certain highway or something, and you can see a stadium or a field off in the distance, and a lot of times that's a significant landmark for a particular city. So it's just something that people there have pride in, and based on the performance of their team, it can be really unifying. So those are just some of the externalities that I sort of was thinking about going over this, and so I'm interested to see what the rest of you guys say.